Remember, there's some pretty important information here in the disclaimer. You might want to give the video a quick pause and read it.
Hello my friends, this is Awake Angel 2001 coming at you with a custom video. This is for Dylan C, not to be confused with Dylan D, who I also did a commission for recently. Nope, different guy named Dylan. This is Violet, who is a character from a game I never heard of, Cell Damage. A game from the GameCube, PlayStation 2, Xbox era. Yeah, it's kind of a classic game at this point, which is depressing because when those systems were out, I was already pretty much 18. I was a legal adult when those systems came out, and now they're retro. Wow. Okay, like, we all have to deal with the march of time, and I'm pretty sure you're all tired of YouTubers having this painful realization every time, so let's just get to making the figure. Alright, so, the base toy was, Spider-Gwen, or Ghost Spider, whichever one you want to recall. Specifically the toy box variant, because she has that intentionally stylized look that would work well with this character's style. You know, like a cel-shaded video game character's style. And the figure does dismantle relatively easily. The only things that don't come out are the hips and the shoulders, because the torso is made out of that harder type of plastic. And, I guess now is a good time to mention that this is one of the commissions that actually was stalled for a little over a month because, you know, the Z-stop on my printer broke and I wasn't able to print her head, or her feet, because I needed to print both the head and the feet for this custom. So yeah, like, until I got my printer fixed, it was kind of sitting on the back burner. But I did eventually get the printer fixed, and I was able to make her head. There was one point where I was wondering if I would be able to make her head directly using Gwen's, but when you put them next to each other, you can see that that's not going to happen. The character's head, when properly scaled to the body for the style, is just too big. Gwen's head is just not big enough. It would be like that time when I made a Marvel Legends version of Shantae. Like, yeah, it looked like Shantae. It actually just looked like a girl wearing a Shantae costume because the proportions weren't true. But, you know, like, I did eventually make a more properly proportioned Shantae figure with proper stylings and everything. But, you know, I digress. This is not about Shantae. This is about Violet. So, you know, with the 3D printed head, there's a little bit of sculpting that needs to be done to, like, cover up 3D print scars. Like, one of her eyes came out looking disturbingly hollow for some reason. I don't know why that happened. I did something to make it work a little bit better. I shaved down the Gwen head until it was pretty much just the ball joint and enough material to stick inside, and drilled a hollow space inside of the head that would allow me to use the natural ball joint the figure already had to stick onto the body. So, you know, like, it would be a more natural connection and I wouldn't have to worry about the head flopping around. Fortunately, the head was big enough that I was able to get this in. Ironically, if it was a smaller head, I wouldn't have been able to do this. Next we have a nice little paint job. Violet is, as you can guess, various shades of purple. You know, like darker purple hair with a slightly lighter purple streak and very, very light purple skin. I actually remember, like, to make this shade of her skin, it's actually a mix of mostly white paint with just a small drop of purple and a tiny, tiny bit of sky blue. Yeah, like, just the perfect little mixture to make this very sickly, faded purple look. And of course it was applied to her body. Her limbs were mostly unmolested, they were just repainted. And her torso had some slight modification. I sculpted on the little skull decal for her tank top on the figure's chest. And I of course sculpted over the web detailing on her arms to, you know, make the torso look like, you know, the shell shaded look with that skin tight skull printed tank top that she has going on. Yeah, once I was able to confirm that the head went on, all was fine and dandy. All that was left to do now was make her, you know, the rest of her clothes, because she can't be running around looking like this. Not that she can run around at all, because she doesn't have feet yet. Let's get to that. So here are the character's shoes. And, oh, by the way, I'm wondering, is this her actual CGI model from the game that I got these models from? Or was this, like, a fan-made thing? Because, like, this game came out way back in the GameCube era, and you'd think 3D models that came from that long ago would be kind of crude and wouldn't really look as good when printed out today. But then you also had to remember cel-shaded games like, you know, like Legend of Zelda The Wind Waker have a tendency to age much better and still look good to this day, rather than games that, you know, try to look realistic in their own time, because then those graphics look dated mere years later. I mean, compare Wind Waker to Twilight Princess. Both games came out in the same console generation. One was going for a cel-shaded cartoony look, the other one was going for a more realistic look. Which one looks better now, you know? Anyway, the shoelaces on the model would have been way too small to print in any detail, so I just opted to hand sculpt them myself. And, you know, giving them that whole platform Converse look that they got going on. So, now she has her shoes and she can stand, and the figure's not looking very decent so far, so she needs to get her skirt. I made the skirt using electrical tape. It's a surprisingly good go-to for this kind of clothing on characters like this. I used the skirt that came from one of those Twilight Sparkle Equestria Girls minis as a reference for the size and shape. And I used like the wide electrical tape, the tape that's like over an inch wide, cause like I didn't want to have any seams on it. So it's like this basic little shape, and I cut strips into it to make the pleats. You'll see that in a minute. And I just carefully glued it onto her waist in a standard cone shape, and then glued the pleats over each other to make it look like that layered cheerleader skirt thing that she has going on. So now I have this this vampire looking girl wearing her full outfit. It's looking good. Next was the details, her tail, which is some twist tie wires with, wrapped up in electrical tape so that the tail is actually posable and flexible, and her wings, which are simply craft foam. All put together, we got that whole cheerleader succubus thing going on. Yeah. I mean, I really don't know anything about cell damage, so I have no way to elaborate on this character at all. All I know is that she kinda looks like a Monster High doll. Although, like, during the GameCube era, was Monster High a thing back then? I'm really not sure. I didn't work at Toys R Us yet, so I wouldn't be able to tell you. Yeah, really, I have no idea. I'm pretty sure this predates Monster High. But then again, it's not like Monster High invented the concept of the, chibi stylized anime looking monster girl thing, right? But yeah, like, this figure would have come together so much sooner if it wasn't for my 3D printer switch breaking. So I'm happy to have it here for you all. And, yeah, this actually was the last of the 5 commissions, so I just have some other things to get out of the way, but hopefully within a couple weeks we should be reopening for the next round of commissions, so yeah, stay tuned for that. Again, don't start spamming my mailbox just because the 5 figures are done. I still have to actually get everything set up, and I have other things to do first, like I have some favors to repay, but yeah, like I should be ready to do that announcement relatively soon. So this is Wake Angel 2001, letting Sonic take us out like always.
Oh, hey everybody, it's me, Sonic! Sonic the Hedgehog! Just here to remind you that if you haven't already, make sure to hit that like button. And for even more amazing customs, don't forget to subscribe to Wake Angel 2001! Because between you and me, they're way past cool!